Hello, guys, and we are back again for Cashflow Digital. I know we said we had a special guest on this week. That special guest is the chicken and gunman himself, Mr. Corey Rose.
Thank you, Craig.
Last week's performance was good. We just want to see if you can upstage that shit this week.
You don't want him to upstage that shit.
No. What is that in the background, actually? Or dare I ask?
This right here?
Is that a clock?
Yeah, that's a...
Is that just a clock? Right. No, it looks like some...
It's a laser, dude.
That's my other gun. That's a gun, Craig.
You gotta pull the lever.
You wouldn't know. He's from the... glass down.
That is it's a collector's item. It was built by some dude who that's what he does.
I'm gonna call you Ty Lopez, and you need to get a big rack of 100 of those, dude.
I see my old motorcycle collection too.
In the playroom office, you can see my books behind me. I can't get this in my hands. What do I do with the books behind me? All the kid books behind me. Yeah. So.
That's funny.
We've asked Corey not to bring out the chickens, so people were asking.
Yeah, no chickens today, no guns, chicken on the farm, but we do want to get into a couple things today. Corey, there was a couple questions that came by, people looking to ask you some questions specifically, and one of them was, what creative shit have you done with content, not just as your copy, but as a traffic source, both on and off page? Go wherever you want with that question. It's kind of open-ended. Get fun with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that question. No, I keep seeing questions like the chickens. I made sure that they were being disciplined elsewhere, and that actually that chicken from last week laid its first egg later that day, so that's why it was being a little bit, yeah. So check it out. So one of the things that we did, and that I've used several times is obviously, when we talk about content, just repurposing content, you can do there's really several different ways that you can do it. And one of the another successful way is that if you're publishing content, if you can get this into the mind of your clients and in yourself, you're consuming content 90% of the day, you might be creating 10% of the day. If you flip flop those things to where you're creating more than you're consuming, then it becomes a habit. You put the reps in and you're doing that. So one of the if you look at your content in 4 different ways that you can actually repurpose it, you've got obviously the content itself being written, then you pull out a camera, do a video. But then you can do a podcast of that same content and just start putting it out there and creating an audience that way. And just getting the reps in is going to help you to make that easier. But then another way to do it is images. So besides just the SEO format of images, if you have an infographic, those actually for certain content pieces still work really well.
What about quote graphics, man? Do you leverage any quote graphics at all, or? Because on the image stuff, I want to expand. We're going to come back to traffic as a content source, right? But for right now, we're going to go with images. So we're talking about infographics, and there's also quote graphics, and we'll get into wallpapers as well. So can you talk more about how you've tied images and infographics into your marketing or quote graphics, whichever way you want to go with it? But I know I have some methodologies. Do you have any methodologies you have for repurposing content? Because when we talk about content pieces and copy, you always want to reuse it at least 4 times, right? When you write a piece of content 4 or 5 times, you want to repurpose it. So you write a blog post, you have a podcast down to video. If you film the video, you have a podcast, you have images off that video as well, right? So there's ways to maximize your content production. But back to infographics, what have you done with infographics?
So infographics, most of the stuff that I've done with that has been really more client related. So what I'll have the infographic created, and then I'll just get with their marketing team and internal marketing team and just say, hey, shoot this out to your audience. And as you know, Mike and Craig and Brad, and probably most of the people on here, that email is a huge part of SEO. It's a great user signal. So when you shoot somebody over to a page that's got an infographic on it, that obviously improves the time that somebody spends on the page, because they're scrolling.
The retention rate's going to be solid on that.
It is. It's really solid. So I've had one like jump for like over 1,000 keywords. I actually had one take over the homepage for the amount of traffic that's getting, like, besides just the branding. So those are really solid. And then I like to get the infographic. And I know that this kind of goes against some of the SEO knowledge that you have, but you have your content, and then you have it being broken up by this long infographic, and then maybe a video, and then the rest of your content. So when it's being read by the bots, you're going HTML, and then you have this large image, and then you have like maybe a video. It's not all completely linear, but we can sacrifice that if we know that the user engagement is going to be worth it. So I put the infographic, the beginning of it at least, just above the fold, so somebody's able to.
You don't put like an intro paragraph above it at all?
Yeah. So there's a little blurb of the content gets started, and then you've got the piece of the infographic showing. So yeah, man. And that stuff is.
On that note, Corey, when you do, so you're saying you're laying it out with the HTML video. So we were talking about peak and end moments and things like that. With the video, when you close that content out, are you closing it with like a summary quote or any sort of image down at the bottom? Because that is one way I've done it in the past, is to close it out at the end with another image, another something to kind of just lock in the end of that piece of content for them.
I love the image quotes. I typically use those for more of like my squeeze page kind of stuff, where there's a call to action maybe further up, and then and one at the bottom that's just going to bring it back up to fill out a form or whatever. Those are great typically at the end of content, especially for just like your everyday like blog content that's meant to generate traffic and users. There will be some sort of call to action, because you have content and you look at it from like what the audience is looking for, and then your brand, and then there's a little intersection right there where they kind of cross over. But you don't want to do all branded, and you don't want to do just all by. Did I do it right, Brad? There it is. That's it. Brad's got the hands for that.
My short stubby fingers are perfect.
Dude, this is the lady finger, bro. Different sizes.
That's the gentleman's finger. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. But and that's always like the kind of the line to dance and make sure that, especially if you're doing client work, even if you're not doing client work, your own stuff, you've got stuff that people are looking for, you've got the brand stuff, and then there's a little bubble where they intersect, and you'd be like, hey, by the way, and you interject some of that in the content. But then at the end, Mike, to your point, it's always, I end it usually with like some fire emojis, and just throw something in there. So I'm having a chat with somebody who's reading it. How's that fire go, Brad? Yeah, there we go.
GIF or GIF, however you want to say it. Yeah,
I'm going to use that. Let me screenshot that real quick and see if it converts.
I'll send you a video.
Brad said he sends them running, dude. Brad sends them running. Brad, content, dude. Any sort of layouts you like that with?
I just like to
traffic source off page.
I do the lexiconical stuffing more than anything. I try and have a piece of content that lengthwise is in line with the rest, with everyone else. You can use Kyle Roof's or whoever else's tool that you want to use to figure out what that perfect length is, or not. Watch your comments, Mike. But find out what that perfect length is, and then I'll go in and just run through it with Cog or similar. And that's it. I try and optimize once you've done it enough, you can optimize it without thinking about it for the most part. So read up on it, practice it, find out what works, use the tools that'll cut down on the time to get those statistically improbable phrases in there, and then just let it rip. Optimize URL, title, and heading tags, alt tags, of course, all that. For local, you don't have to do a ton. Just make sure your main keyword is somewhere in there in the URL if possible, at least the city, and then make sure that it's in the title, and sprinkle in LSIs throughout the headings, and put something long tail but still relevant within the alt tags. Picture of our plumber at a Raleigh location. You've got a picture of a butt crack, under a sink or something.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but on that note with imagery, I mean, it's object, text, and landmark. I mean, realistically, it's not a joke. You got your image out there, and if you're doing a moving company, or say you're doing a plumber, if you stick you're in Seattle, throw the Space Needle in there, and then show someone working on a damn sink. This shit,
especially if you're doing GMB stuff, try and do that within your GMB as well. So
absolutely.
So hey, Brad, on that note, Brad, are you doing, like, when you say GMB stuff, are you talking about like posting GMB or like photos by owner?
Both, but I'm talking about photos by owner typically. I typically include somewhere in the photos landscape of the city that I'm going after. Like if it's Denver, I'll have that. All that.
Are these photos that you're having your clients take, or that you're taking yourself? They're unique.
Typically, they're for PPL, so it's not associated with the client. So what I'll do is I'll go to the Google image search, run a search for non-copyrighted images, type in the main keyword, or at least the market level keyword. So if I'm going for plumber Seattle, I'll at least type in Seattle, find that landscape picture, and use that as the background. Because
there's a Chrome add-on called Download Images that will grab all the images off any page and zip it up for you. So if you want to go after the semantic relevance of the images, you can grab those with that plugin really easy. It's a simple click. It's really easy to put in the process for staff or to automate with the bot. Craig, what about you with content on and off page? Anything that pops to mind right now?
Yeah, I'm very similar to Brad. I always want data-led decisions on how long content should be. And for me, using Kyle Roof's tool, POP, it's something that I think a great tool to start with as a starting point, because so many guys, and I do a lot of training courses, guys are just blindly, throwing out fucking 1,000 words or 800 words or whatever it is, and not giving a fuck, whether everyone else has got 2,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think for
or
me,
if on the other end too, especially for local, they think that you always need 1,000 or 2,000 words, and when you might only need 300 or 400 at most.
Exactly. We want to do as much as we need to do to beat people, and the way that I sell it to people that I train is, check what the other guys are doing. If he's getting away with 300 words, we might get away with 300. Don't bust your balls, but do not expect 300 words to beat someone else who's got 1,500 words. So, as Brad says, use a tool, and then go into Cog or SEMrush. I use SEMrush. I'm not a user of Cog yet, and I keep meaning to jump on there.
SEMrush is honestly on par, and the keyword magic tool, cluster grouping on SEMrush is solid as shit. I think that one or the other are interchangeable, to be honest. Realistically, when it comes down, like what you made a good point, 300 words versus 1,000 words, not only in ranking, but that 1,000 words has the ability to pull so much more rank and terms than that 300 words. Yes, you can get 500 words to pull 800, 500, 1,000 terms that are ranking. However, that's like on the higher upper end. Now, 1,000 words or 2,000 words, 3,000 words, that's not the same feed as 500 words ranking for that. It gets easier. It's all relative, right? So we really do have to pay attention to what's going on in our marketplace, because we want to deliver content that's on par for our customers. And we also need to be able to pull presence that we don't want our freaking competitors to have presence, and when we don't. So if we're not stepping up the content game, the copy game to what those competitors are doing, we're leaving money on the table. And why do we do this? For fun or for money, right? I know I do it for turkey meat, but there was a question in there, Craig, about infographics. You want to pull that one up real quick before we go too far off of it? I want to answer it.
Yeah. Okay. Fat Joe, you can use Fat Joe for it.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. If you don't do it,
if you don't have an in-house staff or anything like that, Fat Joe to do it.
Fatjoe.co. They'll do the graphic for you,
including it within your budget for the client. So
yeah, that's a good point. I do see people quite a bit that will this is a tactic that I like, I'm going to try it, but it's not something they've planned out in their system. So they start to spend money on this new tactic. This is one of the big problems with shiny object syndrome and internet ADD is if you're not locked into a program, it's like one of the biggest pitfalls I see for newer SEOs that are doing agency or consulting work. They see all these shiny fucking things that, oh, this works. All these people are saying this works, right? So they're going to try it on this campaign. They're going to try it on that. Well, that's just eating your fucking budget away. And I've seen people get down in the negative really quickly because they want to try the next fucking great thing, right? So it's
something funny to see on that, by the way, very quickly. So one of my mates who's in the SEO industry actually has proxies and shit like that. And he actually said one day when he was pissed, he says, I've no idea what to do with the fucking proxies, but everyone else has got.
Yeah.
Nice. And he doesn't fucking do shit with them. So yeah, I just wanted to.
I don't have fucking proxies anymore. I'll tell you that right now. I can get real good fucking real hardware proxies on 5G, but unless I'm doing something very specific, now we might have proxies running out there on a bot, but I couldn't tell you where the hell it is.
Yeah, but that's
but
had forever, right? And they just re-up every month. I think I've got 100 semi-dedicated running all the time.
It reminds me of when people were all into going out and buying lists for GSA Serve, you know? Well, let's go buy this. I want this list. I collect fucking lists. Lists are crap. Yeah, there's people out there that have amazing lists that do a great job with software like that. Grindstone still does a kick-ass job, I think, from last I saw, and his research is really good, but it has no purpose in my freaking marketing, so I'm not going to spend money on that list. I don't need that list to feel good about myself, right? It's not part of our systems. So it's important for new people out there, people that are trying to lock their systems down, is to just weed out the shit you do not need. I go through at least once every 3 months and cut expenses. And that's one thing I don't know about.
You do that with your domains as well.
Yeah. Cut domains. Cut expenses. I just dropped like 200 domains yesterday because they were sitting there and I realized they were on auto renew for the last 4 fucking years. That's fucking $2,000 that I saved, right? A year. So that shit adds up. I make mistakes all the time, but I know a lot of people do. I mean, it's easy to forget that you wanted to read a tactic or read an ebook and signed up for something recurring just to grab the fucking OTO or some shit like that.
Yeah,
and
right.
You have a recurring $20 a month fee. Well, you do that 10 times, dude. That's $200 a fucking month, right? So be real legit with your spreadsheets and your accounting, and don't fuck around because it is a business, you know. Corey, besides Fat Joe, do you have anything infographic, or do you just use staff and designers that you have on the call, or what?
No, I bounce around. I've got some on people per hour that are really good. And then I've tried a few different Fiverr gigs, and like I've found a couple that are pretty decent over there. So I bounce it around. Like I find that like certain industries or certain infographic creators that tend to do a little bit better than others. So I don't have any specific. I think they're all of them are good as long as you can get the get the branding on there and just make sure that you're letting them know I want the logo and the color palette of this infographic to match what you would expect to see on this website. Then most of your infographic creators are going to do a pretty good job with that. They're going to use images that you probably find on other infographics, but at least it tells the right story, and the information flows the right way. So anything that you can find, like I hate to pay more than $100 for an infographic, and so yeah, I would say that is probably about the same amount that I would like to keep the content cost at, or so, right around there. So if you're looking at a couple $100 for for your cash outlay on a piece of content that's going to generate thousands.
Well, let's do the math, dude. So that infographic that you said took over the homepage for traffic. What'd you spend on it? And give us an estimate. I do want the list, but I want Corey's list of hotels by hour, not people by hour, dude. I've already got the people by hour list. I need the hotels by hour. No, really though. So I
don't have any of those, Mike.
Right? I know you don't, Corey. You're a good man. The homepage that was overtaken by the infographic page. What was the campaign like? Don't tell us the market if you don't want to, but what was that all about, and what did you spend on that infographic, so we can kind of get an idea of what kind of money this is returning?
So that was for it was a chocolate company, a local chocolate company in right here in Southern California. And they have stuff everywhere. They're already really well branded. As I know you, like Mike, they were a site that had been doing a lot of PR. So they had really solid domain authority. They had a lot of presence out there, but nothing was like woven together with any SEO in mind at all. It was just like, hey, let's try to get some traffic from our post on, Huffington Post, or, all these other places. They're paying like 10 grand to some PR firm that's getting them, links and content and stuff. But so the domain was already really well set up.
Right.
They wanted to rank for dark chocolate, and
Nationwide.
What's that?
Nationwide.
Nationwide, yeah, nationwide. They wanted to rank for dark chocolate, which is, I mean, so you're going again
for that.
Godiva and Mike's in the images for that.
Mm-hmm.
I am, dude. I'm looking for a song right now, dude.
Chocolate Rain.
Like, that's what I was thinking, bro.
So they want that. That's what they wanted to rank for, though, and they just didn't really have any. They were like on page 5 for their chocolate page. We had the piece of content written, and then once that was done, I shot it over to the Infographic company that I was using, and they created this infographic. They put it together, and then and that was kind of the same thing. We had the content up there. I think I cogged it. And then, but that was like to your point, Craig, was like, several thousand words. And because we're going against Godiva and like some of these other, huge chocolate companies. And then but we realized like, okay, we're not going to rank the chocolate page for dark chocolate. Found out that the health benefits of dark chocolate gets like 8,000 searches a month. And that's what the infographic was. That was what the page was about. So we had the content written, published it. It debuted like on page 2. We did, threw some links at it, and then shared the infographic a few times, and then it popped on page 1 for the health benefits of dark chocolate, and then dark chocolate in general. And so those just a few, and it was like 1,000 other search terms like chocolate and cholesterol and like all these things that we weren't even targeting, but that we never would have gotten if it was a piece of like 300 word content. So but that's kind of the strategy. So when you have the content laid out, think of it when you're going to give it to your content writer, like, I want this content to have a really good flow. A numbered or bulleted list is better for a content, somebody who's creating an infographic. It's just real easy for them to bite off chunks. You can take a nice visual flow right on through the whole graphic because somebody is, it already has done the mental homework on setting up the content, and that makes it a lot easier for the infographic to be created.
Alex said it's hybrid intent. I had a conversation with Alex about hybrid intent this morning, actually. We're going to bring Alex on next week and talk more about intent, so we won't go there today. That'll be
excellent. Fun. Yeah, that's true. That is a lot of that.
So that'll be good. All right. So dark chocolate. I really want to play a song, but I'll refrain from doing it right now. Realistically, though, the traffic levels you're talking about, man, are you talking about the small site? I would assume it's large chocolate. Large chocolate.
Easy,
Easy. Shit, right out of the gutter. I assume it's large volume.
So if I look at it in SEMrush, I'll pull it up. Like it was getting. Let me pull the page up.
Right on. When you're doing that. Brad, we've only used I think infographics really in like health spaces, right?
Yeah, the nutraceutical campaign, we used them pretty heavily because it made sense. Because there's a lot of education in there, and that's
they worked really well with cogging the pages and letting the infographic do what Corey's talking about. It worked extremely well, and Corey coined a verb. You can now cog shit. So
say what?
You can cog it, bro.
Yeah.
Mike, step up my marketing and become an influencer and focus on bigger growth the last 3 months of the year. If you want to do that, you've got to get manic and just pump out content. Like, look at what Craig's doing. You've got to show like every freaking day, right, Craig? Sometimes twice or three times a day. That's what you've got to do. You've got to do that. You got to take that content and, like Corey said, splinter it to all these different platforms. But you've got consistency is key. You've got to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. The reason I don't do it is because I don't freaking want to do it. You know, I don't want to be on camera every day. I don't want to do all of that. I've got other stuff I could be working on, or I can just be reading or something. So I don't want to be a huge influencer. But if you want to, that's like read Crush It by Gary Vee. You know, he talks about Tumblr and crap, so I think it's pretty dated, but that kind of stuff has stayed true, you know, no matter the platform. So just get on as many platforms as you can and just start producing content. So
you know, Tumblr still does pretty well for freaking micro niches too. Actually, you know, Pinterest, everything. It doesn't matter. Go back to that. I'll read that last one. Just kidding. I can't read Russian.
Yeah, drop that into Translate, Mike.
Right?
Probably don't want to.
I'm that way right now. I'm such an implementer. Yeah, implementation's great, but that's when you're a super strong implementer, you do have to remember. Like, I've seen Brad evolve over the last 5-6 years from going in and knocking everything out by himself to slowly letting other people do it. I mean, I think we all go through that freaking phase of our business anyways, you know? And it's fun to implement, but it also can take away time from you, which takes away your wealth. And you need the balance in life, basically.
You probably don't want to outsource your core competencies typically.
Right.
So you have something that you do exceptionally well. So if you're really good on camera, a really good interviewer, really good, that's what you should be doing, you know, and stay manic about that. Whereas outsource the shit that either is too time consuming or that you're not as good at. Like, I can sit down and, you know, shit some stuff out, and I do, and I can get it done really quick, but that's why I continue to do it, because I can sit down and just knock out a whole day's worth of work in, you know, an hour or two if I was just plugging and chugging, because I can just stay focused. But yeah, just don't outsource your core competency. That's why.
Exactly. All right, Corey, did you find that?
Yeah, I did. So it was at one point. So what happened? So we did this probably like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and then they hired another marketing lady, and she wiped out the guy that I was working with in their marketing department.
Totally
and
true.
I just checked the page. Yeah, they pulled the infographic down. They changed the title, but at one point it was getting about 5,000 visitors a month. And it had over, let's see, it had like, it had about 1,000 keywords that it was ranking for. So but they jacked it up. And
what was the CPC at the time? Do you remember what the CPC was at the time for the term?
I mean, for the page, it was about like $4,000 or $5,000. You mean the CPC value?
Yeah,
or the actual cost per click?
I'm like, that's fucking expensive, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a buck, like $1.75, $2. But I mean, it had
so how much did the infographic cost you then?
That was 100,000 like searches, over 100,000 searches a month, like totally represented. And the whole thing cost, you know, it was a couple $100, and that was part of
right. So I mean, everyone out there can do the math. I'm not going to math it up right now because I suck at it. But but the math is good. $200 for freaking 100K visits a month is solid in my book, you know. Just wanted to make a point for everyone where people say something, but I wanted everyone to see what that actually means in return. That's a fucking huge campaign right there. That's a single piece of content. This is why we're discussing content, okay? The way you structure your content is extremely important for everybody out there that's starting to get into this industry, or digital marketing in general.
Randy asked what COG is. Cognitive SEO is what we're referring to. It's just a program like SEMrush or anything else that you can use to optimize your content. So
and if you do grab them, I only use the actual keyword assistant, the content assistant tool. Usually if I do an account with them, I ask them to just kind of let me use my shit all the time instead of giving me the other tools.
They'll give you more credits, and then you just tell them like, I don't need the other crap that you guys have. Just give me the keyword, and they'll increase your credits.
Yeah, I still think it's probably that. And go ahead, Brad. Was that you?
No.
All right. That and SEMrush honestly freaking have been, I think, the most productive keyword tools I've ever seen. And I've used like phrase and different high-end enterprise solutions.
Mike, what are you doing, Mike, with your like your, let's say you drop a keyword into SEMrush, because I'm sure that everybody's using that. You drop a keyword in there, you get a huge list of like related terms, exact match. Like, what is your what's your map of how you're using that?
So I pull out the cluster groups in the keyword magic tool, where it auto clusters all the themes together, and then I don't have to think, and I can just scan that shit, delete what I don't like, and I'm done. I want to
get
be
it over to your content writer and call it a day.
Yep. Because I mean, you literally, like, when you're doing network work, if you take a keyword research report out of SEMrush or cognitive SEO, we did it on our training live. I think it took 30 seconds to pull like 2-3 categories out for a full website build with cognitive SEO, and it's just as fast in SEMrush because of the keyword magic tool. So when you drop that in, it will pull out all the synonyms, LSI shit, group it into clusters. And if you're looking for clusters, I mean, realistically, I look at it like you can skip the hardcore research around a topic, because it's going to give you the number of pages that you want in support anyways, based on the size of that cluster. So you don't have to go, okay, I need to go after this many pages and link this many pages up to my virtual silo. I don't have to freaking cluster and do this 10 pages here, 10 pages there. You're going to get a group of like 5 pages, 10 pages, 17 pages, and determine like, okay, is this too much for what I'm doing? And just kind of eye it when you know the market. So it makes it really fast. And then there's plugins. I think freaking Network Empire re-released, where once you have it in that kind of format, you can drop it into silo plugins, and you have full websites without doing anything freaking clever, dude. And you still can rank skeleton sites in some cases. So once you get the URL structure that way through WordPress and plugins, you actually have something you can just plug and play your content and copy into and be done with. So, I mean, it makes it really quick. It's a solid tool. In the long run, I would say that SEMrush might be a little bit faster than cognitive SEO. Cognitive SEO, I think, does a really good job of the way they do their math and that their AI. So I kind of interchange both of them in my head when I think about tools like that. So I'm sure there's other shit out there that works. I just don't know about it.
How about your brain?
What's that?
Your brain's gonna help you out when you come.
My brain doesn't help me with shit, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking unhelpful for me. Actually, maybe negative. It's caused me a lot of problems in my life.
No, I hear that.
Yeah, so that's the whole point. Content map, and we talk about content maps, link maps. We talk about everything. You take one sheet, and you have done your content map. You've done your link map. You've done your anchor map for external and internal. Like, you are done once you have that map. And you know, if you go take that and throw it into something like SEO Jet or some shit, I think that's what it's called, and just use their mapping tool, you can buy the links directly there. Like, I don't do that because I don't prefer those types of links. I don't want someone doing outreach for me or network posts. I'd rather do it the way I do it, control it. But the map is there. And the point is, the product you sell, like, these are all a la carte products you can use to build a relationship if you're doing client work. Like, as a PPL provider, like Brad and I, we're going to take every opportunity we can to consult or to sell an a la carte product, because content maps and link maps, I think the most we've sold them for is like $35K for 2-3 days worth of work, giving a map that lets this business go and take it all the way through.
Yeah, it's the way to go a lot of times when they have their own teams as well, because it's like, why do I need you? But they obviously need you if they're reaching out and you're talking to them. But if they have their own team at that point, go that route.
And it's also a way for you to go and show your confidence when you're selling. We've done it multiple times where it's like, okay, we're going to sell you this a la carte product. Here's the product. Here's the content map. Now you go bid this. This is what you need to do. And you structure the suggestion when you're consulting. You structure that suggestion so that you are the best provider, that they cannot find a better provider than you. So you're not going to lie to them, but you're going to give them something that works, that you're the best at, so they can't find a better bid than you, so you can win the business down the road. And that way, you're not locking them into a contract. You're building trust right away, giving them a product that has results, and you're confident enough to say, take this to 10 other people and let them bid it. We'll come in under all of them and do a better job, right? And that's a methodology we've always used in our agency work. So and consulting work. But let's see what we got here, fellas. Corey, this leads into deliverables, dude. What are you doing for deliverables in your agencies right now, man?
Deliverables. So I've got a couple different ways of going about it. Number one deliverable is going to be content, and that is going to come really with the content sort of repurposed a couple times. So they're going to get they're going to get the research, they're going to get the content written. It's going to be formatted and published on their blog in most cases, and then it's going to be published with a premium graphic design. So grab an image. Do the kind of either the object with text or the object with a landmark, but text will always include the logo in there. So they're getting all of that a premium content piece that they can then use and repurpose however they want to do that. We're not doing any video or anything for clients right now, but the deliverables are going to be straight up just obviously everything else that we do with optimizing the website, but for the monthly deliverables, it's based around content, and then just depending on what kind of client you're working with, depending on a variety of their allocated budget and how much they want to get their hands in the clay. Again, you can say, all right, you're going to get the research, you're going to get a premium graphic, you're going to get, and you can slice the cost down. If you want to present them with the research and have them write the article themselves, which is always good for branding, for voice and everything. The problem that I've run into is that they just don't keep up with it.
Well, we all three of us together working in an agency, starting an agency together, we have had those issues with clients where I'm going to deliver the content that needs to be delivered. I'm going to deliver the content that needs to be delivered, and they're not going to deliver the damn content that needs to be delivered. I mean, I hate those types of campaigns. It's one of the reasons
they don't like it when you continue to charge them, even though it's your fault that they haven't, that you haven't completed your work because you're waiting on them.
Exactly.
It leads to problems for sure.
Yeah, it does.
It can be a big pain in the ass dealing with that. That's why I really like systems and SOPs and just making sure that shit's locked down for those.
And a lot of times
you know that. What's that?
I was going to say a lot of times you find yourself in niches that don't allow you to produce any content on their site. So in the lending industry or something that's more sensitive like that, then they need to approve it or redline every single article or
right. Exactly.
At that point in time, you're better off selling them linking or selling.
Yeah, I agree.
Packages. Yeah,
and that's what I like about the way we structured in the past.
About a time
setting it up, and you were talking about your deliverables being content. We've traditionally delivered content as a deliverable. We sell content plus linking. Are you still doing the same thing, dude? Like, how are you selling?
Yeah, it's content plus linking. I don't give a number for linking. Like, as you know, like some content pieces are going to need a little more cowbell. Exactly. Other ones, they're going to walk they're going to do fine by themselves. So it is content and linking, outreach. But I don't give a specific number or deliverable on that. It's like you get 3 content pieces a month or 5 or 10. Whatever the agreement is, those are the hardcore deliverables. The main thing though, and I always want to make sure to keep my report card, which is an increase in your keyword eligibility, an increase in your rank for the keywords that we're targeting, and an increase in your traffic. Like if it's not doing those things, then it's not SEO. So then we don't really need to be talking. So you've got your deliverables. Right. But then you've got actually what the deliverables are supposed to be doing, which is what my report card is.
Well, that's the KPI. You always should dictate the KPIs before the contract comes, and those KPIs are the standard you're holding yourself to. So if it's shame on us if we do not manage those expectations at the beginning of the relationship. As an agency owner, everyone should be determining what KPIs they want to deliver and report on, and find the clients that fit that. Because if you don't, and the clients don't fit you, it's not worth the fucking money, Yeah.
Biggest thing early in my career was not establishing KPIs and deliverables. Yeah.
Me too.
And even now, like you give them that, and they don't want to buy what you're selling, the way you're selling it. And if you accept something outside of your realm, then it's a complete pain in the ass. Just like
that is true.
Yeah, the lesson of today is for everybody is literally know your systems, establish your KPIs, and don't step out of them because eventually it's going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
There you go. Craig, when you had the agency, what about it did you hate the most, bro? Because I know it damn near nearly killed you, man.
Yeah, I think the thing that killed me the most was the crazy client expectation. No matter what way you pitch it, what you tell the client, what you get the client to sign up to, is not necessarily what is actually delivered. We've all had those phone calls, clients screaming. It's just the whole client management side of it really got in my tits, because I was spending, say, 50% of my time overall managing stupid clients. I had another, say, 20% of my time where I was trying to train the staff and deal with businessy issues. So only 30%, if not even less, was actually doing anything that was deliverable. Something that was going onto someone's website. And I felt my own skills and everything were falling apart as well, because I wasn't able to go out, learn, develop, play with tools, blow shit up, and yeah, get fed up with it. Just saying, and I just eventually said, "Fuck you, clients." And there's got to be easier ways to make money than this. And yeah, that just the client management side. We all have our own quirky way of working. We've all got our own way of documenting what we do. We all have our own beliefs in terms of what we should tell a client what we're doing. And for me, the biggest pain in the ass is you would never walk into another man's business and ask him exactly what he's doing. So I wouldn't go into a mechanic and say, "Dude, tell me what actual oil you put in that car. Was that oil heated up? Was it warmed? Was it fucking cleaned? What type of screwdriver did you use to unloosen the fucking bolts?" Granular detail that customers want from us, though. Like, who wrote the content? What tool did you put it through? How the fuck did you check that? Blah, 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 blah. Was there an internal link put in? I go to the garage and I say to the guy, "Please, dude, fix my car and make sure I can fucking drive around without worrying about a wheel falling off or whatever." And that is, any other business in the world, you do not go in. It's, again, would you go into the chef and say, "Tell me how you cook that fucking steak"?
Right.
What other cool ingredients did you put in there?
You know what the chef's going to tell you? He's going to tell you to fuck off. That's my secret. Go take a walk, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like having someone build your house. They're going to get 50% discount on a freaking source they have, and they're never going to tell you what that shit is. I mean, it's the same exact thing. It's definitely a disrespect, and honestly, it's a lot of clients know just enough to be that big of a pain in the ass, and that's
one article, right?
What's that?
They've read the one article that makes them dangerous.
Exactly. No, it's ridiculous, and it would be a beautiful world. Client work would be great if they just would never read anything and they would sit there and do what they do best. But and that's why people choose to not do it. I choose not to do it because I don't want to deal with it. I don't need a boss. I don't want a boss. I don't want my staff or anyone around me to have a boss. And I just
you're married. You don't need a boss.
But you're my boss.
I mean, to your point, Craig. Like I 100% like I get it, and I've dealt a lot with that. But I find that people are pretty much, everybody wants the same thing. They want to be successful. They want to know that most of the clients that I take on have been burned, so to speak, by bad SEO or shady SEO. They have no idea what was done. They're getting these crazy reports that just like don't mean anything, and they're blindsided. And that is what causes them to start doing some research. They get a chip on their shoulder. They get a little, they get angry. And so when you have somebody who is starting off like that, I find that just being 100% transparent. I tell them, like, this is what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. And you could do it yourself. All you're doing is the same thing that everybody else would be doing. It's outsourcing. This is stuff that you could hire in-house and you could do it yourself if you had the time and you had the resources to do it. All you're doing is outsourcing to somebody who does only this. And that is, kind of the agreement that all of the clients that I work with, I let them know. I'm like, yeah, you could do this, because I've had that question. What's to stop me from going and doing this myself? And I'm like, go ahead. You can do this yourself. You have to do it the right way. You have to have the right intent. You have to have, everything mapped out the right way. You probably need to make a hire that's going to cost you, 10 to 15K a month, cash outlay for somebody who knows what they're doing. Or you can have us take care of all that stuff for you at just a fraction of that cost. So yes, you can do it yourself. And I know that I stand kind of alone in the industry with this, but I tell my clients, in order to make this the biggest no-brainer for you, I want to lower the point of entry, and then I want to make it a no-brainer by telling you by showing you that you're going to be getting results. We're going to show you results in under 30 days, which I've never had any trouble doing. And then I'm going to give you a double your money back guarantee based on those results. So if after 60 days we don't hit the what the guarantee says, number of keywords or percentage of traffic, or keywords jumping into certain positions or certain pages in Google, we're going to pause the campaign. And if we still can't do it after another 60 days, we're going to give you double your money back. So that is, to clients who have been freaking screwed, because these guys are business owners just like you and I. When we pay somebody to do something, we want to see the results. They're the same way. So if you know your industry and you're good at what you do, you should have no trouble offering that kind of guarantee. And I know I'm not saying that you have to do that if you're doing SEO. I don't offer a guarantee on every single campaign that I take over, because the website is in a shambles or it's a brand new website. But for the majority of clients that I work with, I back it up. I put my money where my mouth is. And they like that. And guess what? They're getting emailed every day, the rank tracking reporting, which I know Mike hates that. I like it because it shows them that things are actually changing every day. And you know how often I hear from my clients? Never. I never hear from them, because I'm doing the work. They're seeing the results.
I will say, I mean, we've had agencies together. I mean, the methodology works. There's no question that the methodology works. I personally prefer to report on KPIs of traffic and things like that than keywords. Absolutely, I do. Showing results over 30 days, if you structure what the results are, is not hard to do for everyone out there. I mean, you guys can do it if you're not doing it. If you're smart about how you represent these campaigns and how you're going to report on these campaigns, you can show results very quickly.
You can go for longer tail stuff if it's local stuff, if anything like that. You can show results. And what do you define results as? Like new keywords coming into play, keywords increased. Maybe not everything number one, number two, or
right. Exactly.
But
they just want to know that the money that they're investing is going back into building their own equity in their own lead generating asset, which is their website. So and they want to see things moving the right direction. That is what matters to clients who are trusting, because again, every dollar that they give you, that you earn, is a certificate of appreciation for the work that you're doing. So
how do you handle the ROI question, Corey? What's the ROI going to be on this campaign? Because I've gotten that multiple times. So it's you BS your way through it, but what would be your rebuttal to that?
Well, I always say that, SEO is a midterm business investment. It's not something that you're going to necessarily have to keep at this level forever, but the work that we're going to be doing is going to be permanent. It's going to withstand the test of time. We've been watching Google's patents and algorithm updates move in the same direction for like the last 11 years. So we're going to build our SEO for the future. Everything that you do, it's not going to pay off tomorrow or next month or the month after that, but typically month 6 is where we start to see the break even, and then for after that, it's just up and to the right. So that's typically how I handle that one, and that's, I get that question, Brad. From and I get it more from the businesses that are like really on a shoestring. I got $250 and I want to rank for diamond rings.
It's their like 250, yeah. All I need is tree fitting.
That's when you just go and take their money, everyone out there. Be a good freaking person and help those small businesses.
I don't take their money. I just send them over to Corey.
No, you don't.
So, let's get some questions real quick, Craig. There's one of them came from Alex. He was asking, Corey, do you use Tag Manager and different analytics stuff for let me see exactly.
Use that as an entry point. Yeah.
Yep. Do you offer analytics and tag manager tracking in your deliverables?
So for tracking and things like that, I'm honestly, Alex, I use those tools. I don't report on like tag manager conversions and things like that. I probably need to have Mike help me figure that out in like Data Studio and be able to set up those reports. But no, it's analytics, because analytics is tied directly into one of my KPIs, which of course is traffic. So that, yes. Tag manager, it just depends on if it lines up with what we're doing as far as if we're tracking conversions and everything. They're already going to see that, they're going to feel it, and we'll be able to just pull a report directly from the CMS that they're using and just show them from within their own dashboard when they log into their website. So I'm not doing that kind of tracking. As far, I'll set up analytics for them if they don't already have it, and then give them the login. And then I'll just give a screenshot of it, like, once a month, and just show them where things are at, if that's one of the things that we've like agreed to. But typically, no, like I'm just reporting on keywords and daily on keywords, and then I'll give them like an overall traffic report or impressions report from Search Console.
I've got a question, and it sort of relates, because there's a couple of guys there asked about your guarantee of work for you. But first of all, before I go into that, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. Nothing against you personally, Corey, or anything like that. But if you know how you're saying, like, we do the agency, and and before I see it, I didn't like the agency life, and that was a personal choice for me. I just didn't like dealing with clients. Some people have very successful agencies, but do you never get people saying to you, Corey, if you're so good at SEO and you can offer these guarantees, why the hell would you even consider doing it for clients and not for yourself?
He does it for himself.
Yeah, I tell that that's what I tell them. I'm like, I've got websites that make a lot of money for me. I do it for myself. I do it for clients because that is as a business owner, like, my company was founded with the principle of working with companies just like yours to harness that free traffic, that lightning power of free traffic from Google, because I'm a business owner just like you are. I've got this one thing figured out, and that's what I'm bringing to the marketplace. And I honestly love working with clients. I love getting referrals. I love
You're
people.
insane, dude.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the case, but frankly, it's good money. It has put food on the table.
Oh, it is. It's a super solid base, and the right clients are amazing. A good client
help someone too.
It's the best money. I will tell you that for sure. There's no question. A good client is the best money. There's no question there whatsoever. It's steady money. It comes in every month. It's really comes down to a matter of finding the ones. That's why I enjoy consulting more than like agency stuff, because consulting can be a retainer. It can be on call. It can be working with people that are professional. And I'm not saying that small business owners are not professional, but that's not the type of person I enjoy working with. I enjoy working with somebody that is going to talk on the same level, and being a part of that team is what I prefer when it comes to client work. But
yeah. So Paul, your question, Paul, does my guarantee work for me? It is, again, the goal of the guarantee is just to let them know that I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I've never had to give any money back because we haven't met the guarantee or the campaign goals. I'm not a fool. I'm not going to look at a website and say, yeah, let's just slap a guarantee on this and hope that it works. I'm looking at it and being like, okay, if I can switch the homepage title up instead of just the stupid brand name to like one of their main keyword, I know that keyword's gonna jump like 3 or 4 pages or make it to the top 3 in Google tomorrow, and there's my guarantee. So I never approach that situation, Paul, with any, I never give a guarantee with any kind of thought that
you don't go
in
in blind, right? There's always the honesty side.
Right. And also it keeps my feet to the fire. I know that there's deliverables. I know there's work that has to go into it. So I keep my team, I keep them under fire. I'm like, look, here's our deadlines. Here's what we got to go after. And sometimes, things, if they slack off or whatever, I'm looking around and making sure that at least the deliverables are getting done and I'll jump in, and I'm the guy with the screwdriver on a lot of cases where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna change this page up. I'm gonna drop it into GSC, and I'm gonna have Google recrawl it, and then it's gonna pop. And there's.
Have you ever had anyone that you technically fulfilled for? Because I know you do every time, but they're like, well, technically you did, but not what I was expecting. Or anyone that tries to get that guarantee after the fact, even though you delivered for them, to get that money back.
I've never had anybody come after, or to like try to, claim a guarantee. Yeah, I've never had that.
I don't remember it, to be honest. Yeah.
I've tried to forget it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's because again, I'm not going to put myself in a situation or the agency in a situation where I look at it and think, okay, these guys got penalized. They're in a sandbox. I'm going to guarantee you that we're going to be able to pull you out of, the 2 million Fiverr links.
I want to make a really quick point for everyone out there that might be thinking about doing this. Corey has attorneys that will review his contracts, and so don't go out there and write something yourself. Freaking hire legal help before you offer a guarantee to anybody. Disclaimer.
Yeah, that's a good one, Mike. That is good.
But no, it was a good answer, by the way, when you said, because people always come to me and say, or did come to me, if you're so good, why the hell would you work for me? And I just wanted to see how you would react to that. But
just say, yeah, I'm okay. Not really the best, but
yeah, no, but it's a great answer. You are doing it, and you also like giving back, so that was a good answer. But another question from Paul there is, I'm assuming, obviously, what you're saying is you're cherry picking the good clients. You're not going to go with some schmuck that doesn't have the budget to meet their expectation. But how do you find these good clients? What if you get anything you can give us in terms of acquisition?
So, yeah, for client acquisition, I mean, the biggest thing is going to be referrals from the clients that I love working with already. So, well, that's one right now. That's the main one. So I would say, you read, and here's what works. Like, I'll get a client on the phone, like, hey, how's things going? How's business? Oh, business is freaking going really good. And, thank you for the work that you're doing. Yeah, we're doing great. And I'm like, hey, we've been working together for we've been working for 8 months together. Hey, how come you haven't sent me any referrals? I know you know other business people who need the kind of services that we provide. And guess what? I'll throw you a.
I watched you do that in front of like 7 or 8 people at a freaking firm and teaching them how to sell. I've watched you like this so many damn times, bro. Canada, everywhere. But no, that's hilarious. Realistically, though, starting an agency with Corey means you're running a PPC campaign. I'm going to say it, and it's effective the way he does it. His methodology is super effective.
Yeah, it's from a cold start that you've either got to get SEO results, which you're going to need a lot of them, and you're more than likely going to need to supplement that with PPC.
Yeah, you can at PPC. I've had people that have tried it. They've spent a couple $1,000s, not gotten any leads, and they're like, "What? Well, that was freaking no. That doesn't work." It takes a lot of money and time in order to fully optimize a campaign in order to get something actually working for you. So if you got the stomach for it, then go for some PPC. If you got the stomach and the budget for it, you know how to run PPC, you know how to optimize that kind of campaign. It's a completely different discipline, but it's also one that I offer to clients is PPC management.
I mean, looking for partnerships too. We're all in the online realm. If you're an SEO guy and you've got a PPC guy, and you can both feed off of each other, have him run, a campaign for PPC management and as well as SEO and or web design.
Yeah, exactly.
And work together. I mean, so teaming up with someone like Corey, if you have that kind of PPC knowledge, would be fantastic because he could sell all your clients for you at that point. And that's what you got to do is run the PPC campaign.
And one thing about that, when you go and you ask to partner with somebody, bring something to the table as well. Just don't go out there and freaking start asking people. But you bring a lot, baby.
But to the question that was asked, I tell them, like, you send me a client, I'm gonna shoot you a gift card to Amazon for $500. So I have one client that I've sent her $2,500 worth of Amazon gift cards, and she's like, I'm redoing my whole office with my Amazon gift cards.
Awesome.
So that's been pretty huge. It's just, just to give them something like
Buy one of
that.
those clocks.
What's that?
You can buy one of those clocks on Amazon.
No, you can't find that on Amazon. You might find that like on eBay or something.
There you go.
Or American Pickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, there's all kinds of ways of generating leads, man. Just get out there and if you do some studying up on PPC, run some PPC campaigns, get some solid landers together, and I'll supplement my leads if whenever I need to do that. I'll supplement it with some PPC. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
And I've
What's
got
your
like
average cost per acquisition with PPC strictly?
cost per acquisition with PPC is around $700-800.
Yeah. So most people won't spend that much to get one. In my opinion, they'll stop at like 200-300, like you said, and say it doesn't.
Not
work.
enough data.
Yeah.
Well, they'll stop at 2,000 or 3,000 and say it doesn't work because they haven't let the campaign mature enough to where they've got some actionable data points that they're working with.
Yeah. Good.
yeah,
Well, we're out of time, dude.
it's been another quick hour. Quickly, Corey. If someone sees this and says, "Corey, I want to work with you. I want to send you some clients over," where the fuck are they best getting you?
How did they find
Go
me?
to San Diego and listen for chickens. He's the only guy.
Like you can just shoot me an email. Is that what you're asking, Craig?
Yeah, or where's the best place to get a hold of you, whether it's your website or whatever?
Okay, yeah.
Because you get fucking bombarded.
Yeah, no, it's Corey at Search Geeks, Corey. And the two, it's just one word, searchgeeks.com. So that's the agency right there, Search Geeks, and yeah, that's it. I mean, I'd love to, like, if you want to partner up on
Amazon affiliate program, you get Amazon cards, dude. Corey's
Yeah,
giving
right.
away Amazon cards.
That's right. Yeah.
Do my office up.
Say what?
I want Corey to give me Amazon gift cards to fucking do my office up. So I'll be sending.
There we
people
go. Send them over. Well, yeah, we'll work it out. Let's do it, Craig.
But also, guys, do have a look at odys.global, who sponsor the channel. If you're looking for any kind of aged domains, affiliate websites, or something you want to invest in, have a look at odys.global.
Yeah, I went through it last week. I signed up for an account. You get $100 free, right?
$100 free to spend. So
Pretty sweet.
So have a look at them as well. But Search Geeks and ODYS Global, check those guys out, and we will be back again next week.
Thank you, Craig. Thanks to everybody. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys. Next week, we're going to have Alex on. We're going to go over some e-commerce. Alex, I've known since 2014. He's over in your neck of the woods there, Craig. So it'll be fun. We'll see you guys next week. ODYS Global.
See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you guys.
Cheers.